Mr. View, on behalf of the state or the victim?
Your Honor, Mr. Miller does want to address, I think actually that Ms. Kennard is going to read a statement from Mr. Miller.
Okay. So Mr. Miller is present, but Ms. Kennard's reading his statement, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, my name is Dallas Miller, and I am writing the statement regarding the accident in November 2025 when I was hit by a car. At the time of the accident, my wife and I had a 5-month-old daughter at home, and we were also in the middle of buying our first house and preparing for a major move. What should have been one of the happiest and most exciting times in our lives quickly became one of the most stressful and traumatic experiences our family has ever faced. Being hit by a car impacted me physically, emotionally, mentally, and financially. Instead of focusing on enjoying my daughter's first year of life and building a stable home for our family, I was dealing with pain, recovery, fear, and uncertainty. The timing of this accident made everything even more difficult. Because of my injuries, I was not physically able to help with moving, household responsibilities, or caring for our family the way I normally would have. My wife was forced to take on almost everything by herself while also caring for a 5-month-old daughter and helping me recover. She had to do all of the packing and unpacking during our move. She handled the laundry, dishes, cleaning, and day-to-day responsibilities of our household alone. At that time, she was caring for and feeding our infant daughter while also trying to take care of me during my recovery. Watching her carry that amount of stress and responsibility while I physically could not help the way I wanted to was incredibly difficult. The impact of this accident did not end after the initial injuries. Because of the accident, our lives have revolved around constant medical appointments and treatment. It has been occupational medicine appointments, MRIs, specialist visits, testing, follow-up appointments, and physical therapy. I have gone through multiple rounds of physical therapy and ongoing medical care just trying to recover and regain some sense of normalcy. Keeping up with all of these appointments has been physically exhausting, emotionally draining, and disruptive. For months after the accident, she struggled with anxiety every time I left the house to go to work or even drive anywhere. Something as routine as me leaving home became a source of fear because she had already experienced how quickly our lives could have changed forever. This accident did not just injure me physically, it affected our entire family emotionally, financially, mentally, and professionally during one of the most vulnerable times in our lives. Moments that should have been joyful memories with our new baby and first home were overshadowed by fear, stress, recovery, trauma, and ongoing medical treatment. No sentence can undo what happened or fully repair the impact this has had on our family. However, I hope the court understands that this incident affected far more than just my physical injuries. It disrupted our lives, our finances, our sense of safety, our work, and an important chapter of my family's life that we will never get back. Thank you for taking the time to read my statement. Sincerely, Dallas Miller.
Your Honor, in terms of the state's recommendation, I think that Mr. Miller's statement captures the impact of Ms. Roberts' really incredibly dangerous conduct. I know the court's been able to read that, but the circumstances of her intoxication and the risks that she put herself in, but really the community at large. And I do think the seriousness of the injuries to Mr. Miller do vindicate the law here that a prison sentence is necessary to punish her for just that complete disregard of the consequences of what she was risking by doing that on that day. And so in terms of the state's recommendation for a prison sentence, I do not think that a minimum sentence is appropriate, but I do rely on the court's judgment. I know in speaking with Mr. Miller, he also was relying on the court's judgment in regards to that. I think that a license suspension of a significant period of time is also warranted. There is a $565 fine that's mandatory on the case as well. Thank you, Your Honor.
There's no disagreement that the OVI and that the aggravated vehicular assault, they don't merge, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But they would, by statute, run concurrently. Yes.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, anything from probation?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Aldridge?
Your Honor,
I think it's important to note that my client has been extremely remorseful during this whole process. She's been completely compliant with the court. She has understood from the beginning of this case that there were going to be significant consequences, but she still has done everything this court has asked her to do in the meantime. She's abided by the terms of her pretrial release. She has engaged in treatment for her substance abuse issues completely voluntarily from the beginning of this case. She has not tried to downplay the seriousness of her actions. Again, she's taken full responsibility for those. She has suffered from some mental health issues. She has struggled with substance abuse issues. She has fairly minimal criminal history. I think there was one case that she received diversion on. But for the mandatory time in this case, I think she would be an excellent candidate for probation. But she understands that's not an option here. She understands that she's going to prison. But it's my belief that everything that has gone on so far, her actions warrant the court considering the minimum sentence on this case. And I believe she wants to make a statement as well.
Ms. Roberts, you get the last word in all this. What do you want to tell me?
Sorry. I know that there are no words that are good enough to show how sorry I do feel. I know that I was selfish, and I was inconsiderate, and I was thoughtless getting behind the wheel that day. And if I could, I would take it all back in a heartbeat, not just for myself, but hearing his statement, I never wanted to impact a stranger like that. I feel horrible, and I am so sorry to Mr. Miller and his whole family. And I want everyone to know that I will do better. I will not make this mistake again, and that I really am sorry.
So a couple of things, Ms. Roberts, worth noting, and I read your statement in the PSI. First of all, I do think that you're remorseful in this. I don't dispute that. But both in Mr. Miller's statement and in your statement attached to the PSI, you both made the same fundamental mistake, which I want to correct right now, is that this incident is not to be referred to as an accident, not ever. This is a crime. And in your statement to me, I don't interrupt victims in their statements, but in your statement to me, you called it an accident. Don't ever call this an accident again. This is a crime. An accident is, but for the grace of God, go I, run a stoplight, don't look, don't see, don't any of those kinds of things. They do not involve drugs, alcohol. This is not an accident. So we're not going to talk about it like it is. But also, I think this incident offers a perspective of clarity, not only for you, but what I am able to see from Mr. Miller's statement, which is an opportunity, Ms. Roberts, to know just how precious life is and just how quickly things can change. If I had a nickel for every time somebody said in this courtroom, I wish I could take it back, I wish I hadn't have done things, happens in every case, almost every case. But we have to deal with what did happen, and not what could have happened, and not what we wish didn't happen, but what did happen, which is you caused very serious injuries to Mr. Miller. You don't have any prior convictions for any sort of traffic. And normally what I do up here, Ms. Roberts, is I do three things. I protect the public, I punish offenders, and I rehabilitate people. The state legislature has really taken that third part out of my hands because rehabilitation and supervision do not come as part of this. This is simply a punishment case. because there's a mandatory prison associated with it. Normally, what I would prefer to do is some sort of blended sentence where I give you a prison sentence and then I put you on probation and make you live by rules and give you the tools that you need to make sure this doesn't happen again. I don't have the authority to do that. All I have is the authority to impose a prison sentence. I do think a minimum prison sentence is appropriate, so I am going to sentence you to 12 months in prison. This is going to be mandatory time, which means that I have no power to release you early. This includes a mandatory period of post-release control of anywhere from 1 to 3 years. That means upon your release, the adult parole authority is going to supervise you, and if you violate the terms of that supervision, you can be returned to prison for up to 1/2 of my original sentence, or if you violate by committing a new felony, then you can be returned to prison for up to 1 year, or the amount of time you have left on post-release control. It's automatically whichever of those is the longer period, and it's automatically consecutive to the sentence that you would receive for the new felony. I am not going to impose a fine on the felony case. We have a minimum fine required on the OVI case, which is $565. There is no restitution. I'm going to suspend your license for a period of 7 years because we need to give some serious thought, Ms. Roberts, as to when the next time you should drive is and under what conditions. Is there anything else? I am going to impose 180 days in jail concurrent on the OVI misdemeanor. Is there anything else we need to do? Anything that I forgot?
Nothing additional from the state judge, thank you.
All right, finally, Ms. Roberts, you do have the right to appeal this to the 12th District Court of Appeals in Middletown. If you don't have the funds to hire a lawyer to obtain a transcript or to pay the costs, they will all be provided to you at no charge. I am going to remand you to the custody of the county sheriff pending transport to the institution. Good luck to you, Ms. Roberts.
Sorry, Judge, I missed, did you impose the costs?
Oh, yes, costs as well.
Thank you.
All right, that's all.
A single reckless decision changed two families forever. In this emotional courtroom, the victim's statement reveals the heartbreaking reality of being struck by a drunk driver during what should have been the happiest time of his life. Instead of enjoying his newborn daughter and moving into his first home, he spent months battling painful injuries, endless medical treatments, and emotional trauma while his wife carried the entire family alone. When the defendant finally speaks, she breaks down in tears, admitting her mistake and apologizing for the pain she caused. But the judge delivers a powerful message that silences the courtroom. He makes it clear that this was not an accident. It was a crime. Driving under the influence is a choice, and every choice has consequences. After hearing both sides, the judge sentences her to 12 months in prison and suspends her driver's license for 7 years. It's a heartbreaking reminder that one irresponsible decision can destroy lives in an instant.